Hey, what's up guys, this is Antoine here. Since a couple of weeks ago Sneakers and Stuff came through with my order, I now have a couple of pairs of proper techwear trousers, so that means it is video comparison time. Pair number 1, Nike ACG cargo pants. Pair number 2, Nike ACG woven pants. I realise like half the stuff that I've done recently seems to be ACG. I'm not just a Nike shill, but for someone like me that's kind of trying to get into techwear and assemble quite a few staple pieces quite easily, I think the AW16 range of the Nike ACG gear really does fit the bill. It also helps, of course, that it is significantly cheaper than the acronym equivalents. Anyway, the cargos retailed at $165, the wovens retailed at $160. I did pick up the woven pants half price from Sneakers and Stuff. The cargos, unfortunately, I paid full price for. There was no chance I was going to get those on sale, unfortunately, as those sold out a couple of days after their initial release. Alright, it's comparison time. Let's do this. Now both of these have a very similar construction, very similar material. They're both a cotton polyester blend, mostly cotton, I think 97% in each, with a little bit of polyester thrown in there for a little bit of strength as well. Now unlike the Alpine jacket, which was part of the AW16 ACG collection, these are not Gore-Tex or anything, so they're not particularly waterproof. So although they are coated with a durable water repellent coating, that is going to kind of come away, wash off over time. So yeah, just don't rely on these in the same way that you would on the Alpine jacket or anything else Gore-Tex for water resistance. Although the material and obviously the black colouring is pretty much the same, fortunately they differ in quite a lot of other ways, which is good because otherwise this video would be boring as fuck. Hopefully if I've done this right, you'll be able to see the overall fit side by side here. So as you can see very obviously, the woven pants on the left here are much looser, a lot more of a relaxed fit compared to the cargos. The cargos have that quite aggressive taper, so the leg opening is actually pretty small, whereas the woven pants, although they do taper a little bit, it's a lot less noticeable, and certainly around the kind of upper thigh area, there's a lot more material there than on the cargos. You'll also notice that the woven pants have a slight crop to them. They definitely come up higher than the cargos do. This makes them perhaps more appropriate for a kind of summer wearing. They're definitely breezier than the cargos are, even though you can open those zips on the cargos. I think if you're going to wear these in warm weather, I would definitely go for the wovens over the cargos. I would say though that the woven pants are perhaps on the verge of being too big, or at least they are on me. So I bought these both in the same size, which is a size large, and it definitely feels like the woven pants come up bigger than the cargos do. There's quite a lot of room around the waist. I have to tie the cord up quite tightly in order to get these to stay on, whereas the cargo pants, I don't really have to do that. The area around the waist is also something to definitely pay attention to. Now, although neither of these have belt loops, which is a slightly frustrating exclusion, they do have different ways of fastening them. So the woven pants, as I mentioned, they just have this cord to secure them, so they do have a slight kind of looseness about them, whereas the cargo trousers, they have a little button to fasten them up with as well, and a zip. So they're a little bit more secure, and of course they have a cord also. However, I wouldn't necessarily count that against the woven pants. It is just the style to keep those looking as clean as possible. It does mean though that if you want to go for a wee in these, you have to go full child mode and pull them down. So yeah, just something to be aware of, I guess, if you're out in public wearing these. Although a very small feature, something which I think definitely works in the woven pants credit, is those nice little orangey red drawstring tips that are on the end there. The ACG cargos just have plain black, but I think having that little bit of extra colour detail is a really nice touch with the wovens. It does just give them that little bit of extra something, especially when the look of the whole trouser generally is so kind of clean and minimal. It really does make it stand out. Even those back pockets are kind of tucked away with these vertical zips, which I actually think is a really nice touch. It does make the back look really clean, and they're also super easy for you to get into. You don't need to like fully reach around the back to get anything in and out of your pockets. You can just use these little vertical zips, boom, stick your hand straight in. The only real detailing you've got is kind of towards the shin. There's these little additional stitching bits which kind of come across at a nice little diagonal angle, just to kind of break up those lines a little bit towards the bottom half of the trouser, which I think is quite nice. Also on the leg opening, there's this little section here of kind of elasticated material. These are presumably designed to let you get your foot in there easier, although the leg opening is quite big anyway, so I'm not really 100% sure if you'd need that, but I guess it's a nice inclusion anyway. Like if you've got absolutely massive feet and you're trying to get them in here. On the other hand, the ACG cargos certainly do have a lot more going on. Although they have a more traditional horizontal zip for the back pockets, they do have some nice extra pockets on the legs as well, which do make them look a lot more like your traditional cargo trouser. These pockets are pretty big, pretty roomy, you can get a lot in there. They're secured with a button, so they're not kind of totally exposed, you don't have to worry too much about your shit falling out, and you can pull them tighter with this toggle here as well. The cargos do have a YKK zip at the leg opening as well. These have a slightly smaller leg opening, so you're probably more likely to make use of this to help you get your foot in. Both of these are pretty subtle in terms of branding, which I think is good. Generally, I prefer kind of letting the top half of you do the talking in terms of how branding is concerned. So the woven pants just have a single piece of branding, which is on the back here. It has the ACG logo, very short description about ACG. Probably no one is ever going to see that. So I think that's fine, no problems with that. The cargos have the same thing but a little bit further down. So on the left pocket they have this little bit of branding here. So probably someone will actually be able to see that, although it is still very subtle, which I think is a good thing. Also at the right back pocket they do have another little extra piece of branding as well. This is in the same place as on the woven pants, but here it's just the ACG triangle logo as opposed to having the description as well. The cargos are certainly a more kind of staple piece, more traditional techwear look, and have a lot more functionality because of those extra pockets and such. But that's not to say that I discount the wovens completely. I think that cropped look is quite kind of unique, especially with the looseness as well. That definitely makes them a more of a summery techwear trouser, which I think is good. You can also use that looseness, that more relaxed fit, to kind of play with dimensions a little bit more. So you can have something quite fitting on the top half and then like a little bit more going on the bottom half, whereas a lot of techwear fits kind of do the opposite of that. So I think that could be something quite interesting to consider doing. I also think the vertical zips are a really nice inclusion, so they definitely get some points for that. And of course, some of that looseness is just down to me possibly buying the wrong size. I think if you remember to size down if you ever pick a pair of these up, then you won't quite get that looseness. They'll be a little bit more fitted, but still have a kind of relaxed general fit. So that's pretty much been it on these two pairs of Nike ACG pants. Hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at them. I certainly did. I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment now. So if you click up in this corner, possibly that corner, but I think that corner, then you guys can vote on which of the two you think is the best. So I'd be interested to hear you guys' opinion. I kind of feel like the cargo pants are going to win out on these. But of course, if you've got any particular comments on these, then do feel free to leave them in that comment section. And if you enjoyed the video, do give it a like because I really do appreciate it. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I will be back next week with another video. Welcome to the end, aka the best part of the video. If you want to see some more stuff from me, there'll be some videos up here. They'll probably be techwear related, but I might do some other stuff as well. And of course, if you feel like subscribing, you want to see some more stuff from me in the future, then you can always hit that little button there. And then you can watch the video before anyone else, and you can leave a comment before anyone else, and your comment will be the one at the top that has all the likes, and that is how you get all the ladies.